It is Thursday, March 19th, Oilers Pride Night in the United States and Canada, and this is a show called What Chaos from the Sports Interaction Studio. Mercifully, my name is David B, and I sit beside Pete Blackburn, and across the internet, holding it down, in that city of champs of his, is Sean DePaz. Pete, welcome back.
Welcome back to you, my friend.
Ooh.
Escape the old swamplands of Florida.
The clutches of Florida. I didn't consider until yesterday. I was like, every hockey person is in Florida right now.
That's true.
I could go get some work done, but
that thought didn't cross your mind.
I don't think even they were getting work done.
It's true. They were just fighting.
Yeah, they were fighting. And again, as I said yesterday when I accidentally made myself the pick-me girl, I like that we're in our own kind of bubble of how we do our hockey stuff. Yeah, and if I were to do our thing with them not like getting it, that's not fun because that's only just making fun of people.
Yeah, but you could have exited the bubble real quick and like antagonized Gary Bettman or some of these GMs and then re-entered the bubble and just watched the chaos.
Oh, that's
just
true.
A little like, hey, Gary, I heard that Eric Tulsky said that you're getting fat, and then just go back in your bubble.
Or I could have gone in and just been like, Gary, love, good to see you, and like exchanged pleasantries and then walked out. And then all those reporters in their fucking khakis who have been like grinding, trying to get have a good relationship with Gary Bettman, they're like, what's that guy got?
I don't know. I mean, how much did they grind at the GM meetings? I feel like it's a nice little opportunity to go down to Florida, chum it up with some of the GMs, and be like, "This is what I heard." I don't know.
Oh, I misread that. Chat said, I thought it said, "Is that Leon sticker new?" Or did I? And it said Loon. I wish I had a Leon sticker. Someone in Florida did ask me if this sticker was me, and I said, "I wish."
That'd be sick. Wicked Noise nailed it, by the way. Wicked Noise nailed it. I'm Gosling maxing for Project Hail Mary.
Is that why you're doing that?
Yeah, I'm seeing Project Hail Mary tonight. I'm very excited.
Oh,
I'm
is it out
for
tonight? I didn't.
Yeah.
Or is it out already? I didn't realize. I do want it. You read the book, correct?
I did. Yes. Ooh. Not to brag. I can read.
Big reader. I by the way, I wanted to get this joke off, but the moment passed. But I'm going to do it anyways. I was going to say, call you Lou Will the way you're exiting a bubble in Florida and then causing chaos.
Not bad.
All right.
This guy would not go to a strip club, though, to exit the bubble.
Hey,
although you would go to a strip club to get good wings.
Yes, I absolutely, yes.
I mean, we never had this conversation with like the whole Atlanta Hawks Magic City night. Magic City is a strip club in the way that like Disney World is an amusement park.
Yeah, it's a strip club in the way that Jordan's Furniture is a furniture store. Where it's like it's so much more though, and it's
so
such
much
a good
more,
time.
and it's like it's a cultural like landmark in the region. It's not just a club. It's not just a furniture store. It means more to the people there. But you wouldn't.
By the way, I don't know if you've John, what's your knowledge on Jordan's Furniture? I know that you were a local guy for a little while.
Did we ever get you there?
No, we never got there, but we talked about it at one point. Because you were explaining to me that it's much more than a furniture store. There's like rides and movie theater and shit.
They've rebranded. They've rebranded, and their new branding sucks ass. It is exactly what you probably think that it is. They went the Jaguar route.
Oh,
it's so boring.
That's
so. And I know that our guy Elliot is stepping down. He's retiring. So they're looking for a new face of Jordan's Furniture, and they've rebranded the logo and the word mark, and it is just fucking awful. So bland.
Well, people will remember that there was another person with Elliot back in the day, Brian Dunkelman, if you will.
His brother.
That was his brother?
Yeah.
And he just squeezed him out?
No, his brother his brother was like, I've had enough of this. I'm gonna go pursue other interests, and then he became like a Broadway financier.
Damn.
The financier?
Yes.
Wait. Or how about this? Turned out that brother was not his brother. Saw that he was having all this success and that he's making all this money and that his furniture business had come through. He came and he said, "I'm your brother, and I've traveled all this way to see you. Elliot's like, sweet, I have a brother. Doesn't ask enough questions. Eventually says, we can get liquored up and take him to the Peachtree Dams. This brother doesn't know what he's talking about. In the night, Elliot kills that guy. After Elliot's adopted son had tried to kill this brother because this kid knew that this guy was a sham.
It took me way too long to realize what you were referencing there.
It's always there will be blood.
I should have known.
Sean, sometimes you disappoint me. Very, very.
I think you got it right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just that I have a prolonged exposure to DJ Bean and the way that he operates, but I was like, okay.
It's simpler than
the
you
only
would.
question
the trick
is how long this is going to take.
Yeah. It's simpler than you would think. The references are not as vast as you would think. And again, the old trick, if I'm saying it with a straight face, I'm joking. Also, how about a little love for my guy Delta Sweet sending from the DJ Bean Memorial Edmonton Oilers team store. This was an in-store only drop. A Hunter crew. I'm a crew boy, and I'm a Hunter boy.
So
I know it's a topic at some point, so I don't want to get. But speaking of in-store exclusives, we need friends in San Jose. I guess we might have some because they're sending Pete jerseys already, but we need friends in San Jose.
I think
so. Maybe they can send us this Sharky drop in 7 years.
7 years.
Well,
when it's old.
When
they're looking to liquidate their inventory. That's when they'll come through. No, I think we can effort some drops from San Jose.
I do know that I have a care package on the way from one team out in Los Angeles.
Because Armenian heritage.
They've got. I believe their Armenian Heritage Night is tonight. I could be wrong. I couldn't make it because stuck in Florida all week. Got a trip coming up this weekend. Couldn't do it, but the Kings are going to send some more Armenian stuff, which I absolutely love. We've got a lot of stuff to hit today, including that Sharky merch. So, Pete, tell the folks what's on the show.
Sean, chat saying they need your volume a little bit louder. If you can
juice yourself.
Fix that.
Can't effort.
Okay. Today on the show, let's talk about Phil Pritchard from the top rope, because Phil Pritchard absolutely stuffed Jack Hughes in a locker yesterday. Very excited to talk about that. Mason low vibes. Is that going to be that's not a low ride. That is a Mason McTavish low vibes.
I may say so myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that we were talking about Mason McTavish, and I saw that, and still, it's a bad day. It's a slow start for me.
Sean's a little sleepy today.
You are on 4. I did see yesterday that people in the chat were saying that you're on 4 for 4 watch this week. You could throw a perfect game of atypical Sean episodes.
Listen, everybody goes through slumps. Aaron Judge is one of the best hitters of all time, and he was dog shit during the World Baseball Classic. So that's what this is.
Well, that's because those games meant something.
Exactly.
That's not atypical.
This is an Aaron Judge tribute week. I'm just being shitty at my job.
Aaron Judge, do nothing. People still in Florida, not DJ, but GMs and reporters reporting on the GMs and their fights with Gary Bettman. They're still in Florida. Maybe not, because the GM meetings ended yesterday, but we have takeaways. And finally, we've got a Seth Jones trade part 2, which is very exciting. And if you're new to show lore, DJ a few years ago was like, the Blackhawks should trade Seth Jones. I think they can do it. Here's how they do it. Immediately, I was like, you fucking idiot. They're not going to be able to trade that contract. A year later, they traded that contract. And so now whenever DJ has a wild trade proposal, we just have to hear him out. And he brought one to the table today, and we'll hear him out.
Sean, should I let slip your reaction to? No, I won't.
I mean, up to you, but yeah.
I want Pete's reaction to be clean because there's elements. There's a bit of a presentation into this one. I know that will shock you. So Sean does know what the trade is. Is it, Sean, can you at least say, like, it's a damn fun one?
Yeah, I mean, the result of it most certainly would be fun. But yeah.
All right, no
This is a great tease.
I won't give away anything
tease
else.
For a segment later on. We're also going to talk about, it's not on the rundown, we're going to talk about Amazon Prime has a new hockey show.
Yeah.
A hockey romance show. This one is straight, so a little bit less interested. But we will.
Creators are cowards.
We will talk about that new Amazon Prime hockey show off campus at the end of this episode.
Yes. Well, we can do a kind of free for all. Like I'll start with the Sharky stuff because everyone in the chat wants to know about this merch drop. The Sharks are doing a Barbie collaboration, and you can get stuff in their store now, I believe. And they have a night they're going to be giving away Barbie cross packs, which are very sick. But look at some of this stuff. That hoodie's
awesome.
I'm a crew boy, but I would love that hoodie. Sharky, and does that say Sharks or Sharky?
It says Sharky on the front, and then around, like on the front, it's Sharky, and in that circle it says "Let's go Sharky, come on Sharky, let's go party." And
so
then
now
on the
we're
back
doing,
it says Sharks.
That's not even a Barbie reference.
Yes,
that's
it is.
That's an Aqua reference.
But it is Barbie.
Yeah, but that's not canon. That's not that has nothing to do with Mattel. They're just like saying anytime Barbie's been referenced, we can use that. Let's throw that in there. I want
that.
Let's go
so
Sharky.
Bad.
This really goes, and I love it. My question is like, why? Why now? I guess better late than never, and we do know the Sharks like to sort of be a little bit behind the times. But why are they doing a Barbie collab right now?
Well, I will say Barbie was just in the hockey world last week with their PWHL hockey stick collab. At least one woman in the league had a pink Barbie X insert hockey stick brand. I don't remember what brand it was. Collab. So Barbie is kind of in the has been in the hockey world recently. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence, but it is Barbie is all about like inspiring women to do stuff that they often are told that they can't do or don't places they don't belong. And hockey is women's hockey's hot in the streets right now.
Steph says tune in next week for the Oppenheimer collab. That would be
I was going
to
ask which team do you want to do an Oppenheimer collab?
I mean, it would have to be.
I have an answer.
Go on.
Sharks.
Well, yes, because of I mean, precedent
I want the
is there.
Sharks
They'll
to do
nail it.
all the collabs.
Yeah. I mean, the Sharks just being a team that does movie collabs would be incredible stuff. I'm a big fan of this. If they have any leftover inventory, would happily ask them to send it to me.
Yeah,
So.
Even if you don't have leftover inventory, rob somebody. Prevent somebody from feeling joy so I can feel joy because I want that hoodie.
Ooh, the King Shaman says LA Kings doing the Oppenheimer collab would. I mean, that to me that does spiritually make sense. Where like the Sharks are the very fun, sort of whimsical, often gay team, and then the LA Kings are just like, no.
Yeah.
Nuclear bombs.
Yes.
Yes.
I do think the Kings are the Oppenheimer to the Sharks Barbie.
What does that make the Ducks then?
I think that makes them the Mighty
Like
Ducks.
Avatar. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
No one's. If anyone's Avatar, what team do we like the least to
New York Rangers.
have do
New York
Avatar
Rangers.
shit? Who?
New York Rangers suck while they're covered in blue. That's the recent Avatar experience.
No, I like the Rangers now.
I would say that they're the
Fair.
Toronto Maple Leafs because
They suck while they're covered in blue.
They're covered in blue. They churn out money. Like they're very profitable. It's a big
Despite
business.
how good the product is.
Yes. Yeah, I think that the Leafs are Avatar.
Yeah, that's probably a good one.
Okay. Damn. No, I like the Rangers. I don't want to make fun of the Rangers. If they're tanking their draft pick while changing the world in their fight for gay rights, then I'm not mad.
I dislike James Cameron, but I don't dislike him enough to compare him to James Dolan. I think that's very unfair.
That I will give you.
Okay. There is a second hockey smut show, can we call it, that is hitting the timeline. I saw some discourse about this, but I didn't really know what anyone was talking about. And then, Pete, this morning, you sent me the trailer for it. It is called Off Campus. It is based on books by L. Kennedy that I am learning just from the chat in real time. So we are, as we kind of were at the beginning of the Heated Rivalry experience, learning a lot of things that we didn't know. I'm seeing all sorts of people have takes on this whole thing, and I don't know what mine is, but I can, at the very least, watch the trailer and react to that. There's music that's used in this trailer that we think could maybe get us in a little bit of copyright trouble. So we just cleaned it up a little so everyone's safe. Here is the trailer for Prime Video's Off Campus, debuting, I think, May 13th.
La cucaracha, ya no puede caminar porque no tiene, porque le falta marihuana que fumar. La cucaracha, ya no puede caminar porque no tiene, porque le falta marihuana que fumar. Una cucaracha pinta, le dijo una colorada, vámonos para la finca a pasar la temporada.
You looking for someone?
Fuck, no. Sorry.
La cucaracha, ya no puede caminar porque no tiene, porque le falta.
What do we think?
What do we think here? Soundtrack? That wasn't okay. Never mind. I was gonna say soundtrack good.
Soundtrack bangs.
Yeah, I was gonna say soundtrack really good, but I forget. People in the chat saying that Role Model apparently has made the music for it. Look, I'm gonna give everything a chance, and I'm gonna see what it can be. And we're equal opportunity. If we can't say we only want gay hockey shows, even if I think we would prefer gay hockey shows. I don't know enough about it.
Listen, I was excited that we tuned into Heated Rivalry and like really liked it, and we were like, damn, this is straight up art. If this show wants to come along and be the show that we get to like make fun of being the hockey romance show, absolutely in. So I'm like kind of hoping that this show sucks, but it sucks in a fun way.
Yeah, and I'll say, I mean, we have a very cool group here who watches Heated Rivalry with us. Like, we get jokes off about Heated Rivalry, and we'll make fun of stuff in the show, but we still love it. You're saying that you want something that like you can hate watch.
I'm too afraid to make fun of Heated Rivalry at this point. There's not a lot to make fun of, honestly, but like now I'm too afraid because the fandom is out of control.
the stan culture and everything. But like because it's such a good show, because it's such a good show, I'm cool making the jokes about or having a way too long conversation. I would say it wasn't a joke when we were talking about the hamburgers. I passionately defended Shane, but like talking about trading him, I probably wouldn't trade him, but I actually would think about it based on. We got to have some funny conversations based off of Heated Rivalry because we loved it so much. You're saying that you're looking for something that is actually bad.
Yeah, like bad in a fun way. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I loved Friday Night Lights, but Friday Night Lights was bad at points, and it was cheesy and cliche. And like, if we're gonna get stuff like that from this, absolutely. If we're gonna get like Hallmark type ridiculous cliches and tropes that I can point and laugh at while also kind of enjoying myself, then yeah, there's a place at my table for that as well.
Are you worried that Heated Rivalry has ruined hockey smut shows for you?
No, I think it set the bar very high, but like I'm not expecting this show to be Heated Rivalry.
I am absolutely not. And look, I'm willing to be surprised here, but Heated Rivalry, man, is like a magical thing of someone taught me the expression the other day where like you can take the ingredients, but you still don't have the recipe kind of thing. Even if someone studied Heated Rivalry and was like, all right, we'll have this, we'll have this, we'll have this, we'll have this. You can't put it together because you don't have Jacob Tierney and you don't have Connor Story and you just don't have so many of these elements. I know that Wolf Parade better not be licensing their music to this show.
Oh, if
they
Carly
owe
Rae
Jacob for
Jepsen shows
life.
up in the song, so help me God, in the show, so help me God. No.
It does look a little more Hallmarky than it does look Crave TV, but we'll monitor it. I do know some people in the chat were saying they do not like the author of this book.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I still enjoy the Harry Potter movies.
That's a good point, Sean. That's very true. By the way, I did buy a bunch of the Game Changers books yesterday.
Love it.
Went
There
to
is
Barnes
proof.
& Noble. They had a whole display.
They are restocked?
They are,
shocked.
I
Yeah, I was
would
gonna
say
say.
they're not only restocked, they are stocked to the gills.
Wow.
They know what they've got. So
Rachel Reed, I don't want to count anyone's money, but like Rachel Reed deserves to be the richest person in the world for what has happened the last year. Like so many more people are watching actual hockey. I know that Rachel Reed can't get a cut of the NHL's new fandom or people watching the Olympics or whatever, but I'm not trying to gas her up too much, but like you kind of did that. So reprint those books. Get that paper, as Jean Ralphio would say. So we'll see what happens with this show off campus that I've already kind of forgotten about. Phil Pritchard. Got to tell you about Phil Pritchard. Yesterday we talked about how Jack Hughes had told Greg Wyshynski he wants his puck back. He wants his golden goal puck back. And it's in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he thought that was BS, and he wants to get it back, and he was saying, I should have mine, Megan Keller should have hers. We discussed that maybe he just doesn't totally get it. There's a lot of Hanlon's razor chat, do not attribute to malice, that which can adequately be explained by stupidity. Well, the Hockey Hall of Fame has spoken on this, and they brought out the big guns. Phil Pritchard specifically. If you don't know who Phil Pritchard is, he's like the Austin Powers of hockey. Just the coolest man, the keeper of the cup. He always wears these white gloves. He brings the cup. He presents shit to people. Men want to be him. Women and men want to be with him. That kind of thing. Sean, this is Phil Pritchard. So like that's that's what we're dealing with here, okay? That's Phil Pritchard. And this is his quote to Greg Wyshynski. Unfortunately, in the easiest words, it was never Jack's puck to own. It's been donated to us now. For every artifact that's been donated, we have a paper trail and signed paperwork of where it's come from. That's a nice way of saying two words to Jack Hughes. One of which is get. The other one is fucked.
Yeah, I was going to say it's, I would say fuck off, buddy, would be the three words.
I would say that he was more asking a question, which is, who is Jack Hughes?
Yeah, get your fucking paws off my puck, pal.
I would love if Phil Pritchard kept referring to it as his puck. I'm not giving him my puck.
It's mine now, bitch.
If he wants my puck, he can fill out the proper paperwork, and I will still say no.
I'll let you borrow it for a day, pal.
Yeah.
I mean, this is... I hate that we're still talking about this, but it is almost 100% Jack Hughes' fault. And that was the point that I was making yesterday. This didn't need to be a story. Jack Hughes shot himself in the foot, gave a super strong quote to be like, it's bullshit, before really knowing anything about the situation, including where the puck was. The idea that Jack Hughes was stunned that this puck was in the Hockey Hall of Fame is still something that I'm having trouble getting over. Because if you had come up to me yesterday before any of this happened and been like, hey, Jack Hughes doesn't know where his golden goal puck is, you got any guesses? My first guess would be the Hockey Hall of Fame, because it is the golden goal puck from the Olympics. And that's a likely place for it to be. So this is all so stupid. And unfortunately for Jack Hughes, kind of made himself look a little worse again last night when he was asked about it after the Devils-Rangers game. They asked him about it, and this is what he had to say.
Puck blew up a little bit. Were you surprised by that, or is there anything you wanted to clear up with that?
No, I mean, listen, like, obviously honored that the puck's there. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like the most special place in hockey. So, yeah, I mean, I'm honored that it's there, but obviously I think things were taken, crazy. Like, just that's the way I felt. And I didn't know where the puck was, so it is what it is.
Chat says, Jack Hughes stunned in new quote.
It's so tough.
It doesn't.
Every time he says something and then has to like walk it back and be like, I don't know why everybody's mad. There's a common thread here. You're just saying stuff, man.
It doesn't help that Sidney Crosby was asked about it. And
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby said, quote, I didn't even think about it that way, to be honest with you. Talking to The Athletic. I was just happy that I scored the goal. I was happy that the puck was going to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I didn't even think about it that way. Unfair to compare anybody's professionalism to Sidney Crosby. Like, in all seriousness, like, unfair to compare anyone's professionalism to Sidney Crosby or Sidney Crosby's media training. And I don't even know if it's media training with Sidney Crosby. He's just kind of got it. He's got the Patrice Bergeron, just like, gentleman thing down.
But Jack Hughes is acting like it's his first day at being a superstar camp. And that's not the case. Jack Hughes has been a superstar for a number of years. Is it hitting a peak level right now that he's probably unfamiliar with? Yes. But the lack of media training or any sort of sensibility that is being applied to Jack Hughes right now over the past few weeks has been pretty staggering.
I'm just saying it's probably good that we did not keep doing like a weekly and daily check as to who is better and who is having the better season between Jack Hughes and Evan Bouchard this year, because this would be a lot of fun comparing Jack Hughes' handling of the media and Evan Bouchard's, because I don't know if Evan Bouchard has ever spoken a word in his life. I don't know if that guy can talk. I don't know. But Jack Hughes is, I don't want to say like plummeting his reputation, because by and large, we won't care about this. It's just a funny kind of...
It's a sloppy, messy thing that will blow over in a day or two, but it definitely kind of attaches itself to Jack Hughes' image.
But it's also part of Jack Hughes lore, and I don't
Right.
mean to be insulting here, but when I... a year and a half ago, whatever, was teaching somebody about hockey, showing them different players. Like, one of the first things I showed her was the Hughes brothers. And I said, there's three of them. We'll just have you learn about two. And one of them is like quite hunty. And the other one just kind of has this ineffable vibe going on. And you'll be able to tell who's who. And I think that was always kind of how people thought of the Hughes brothers, where Quinn has this maybe endearing je ne sais quoi, and Jack has this...
It's more abrasive.
You would say that Jack's is more abrasive.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying
No.
Quinn's. Yeah, exactly that. And like, I don't know Jack Hughes personally, and I know that he's got a lot of friends and all that shit. So like, I don't know him personally. I don't know how he is to people on the regular, but this kind of feeds this funny view of Jack Hughes that we already kind of had, which is like, yeah, give me my puck.
Yeah, he is for sure prickly and has been for a while. Like, the media, can be snippy, and there's been stuff that we've covered on this show. And like, I don't want to paint him as he's a horrible guy, bad guy, or anything like that. He's a fantastic player. He is not like the endearing media sensation that a lot of people want him to be, and that is becoming very clear over the past like week or two.
Yeah, he's not face of the league material, which is actually why I quite like the race between he and Evan Bouchard, because they are both not faces of the league for very different reasons. So we'll say that this is an L that will eventually dissipate for Jack Hughes.
Apparently, I haven't been looking at the screen. Apparently, Sean's just been highlighting comments that say Sean shouldn't talk.
Yeah, I've been staying quiet. There's been people being like, please, someone said, I don't want to lose you today. They don't want to hear my take because they know they won't like it.
So do you have a take on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole thing, it's the same take I had yesterday. I think this whole thing is ridiculous, and it's free Jack Hughes. My only thing about Pritchard here is I just don't like the idea that like Jack Hughes has fucking nothing to do with this. Why should he want the puck? Like, Like, it was the only reason this puck is important is because of Jack Hughes. So the idea that
I don't know about that, Sean.
What about the kids who made the puck?
Zach Werenski because he stole the puck to pass it to the only reason this puck is important is because it was scored by Jack Hughes.
Yeah, as a member of Team USA, a hockey team.
Yes. The only thing I guess my only problem with what Phil Pritchard had to say was that it was a lot of like Jack Hughes has no right to want this puck. And I don't like. I think he's well within his rights.
He said it was never his, and that is correct. It was never his.
I got a book for you, Sean. You just used a fallacy called straw man.
It is like very like I just because it technically belongs to the Hockey Hall of Fame, I don't think is like a good reason for like why Jack Hughes has no right to the puck. I guess is my only point. Is that like it's very much like, well, too bad for you. We have the paperwork. It's like, okay, but like,
it's not that
Jack
he wants
Hughes
the
just wants the puck.
It's not that he wants the puck. It's how he went about trying to get the puck and the things that he said when he was asking for the puck. That's
I'm not
the problem.
Repeat everything I said yesterday.
I don't want to repeat it either, but that's the conversation that we're having.
I know, but
it's the lack of PR approach to it. Like there's an okay way that makes this a non-story.
Bullshit. Everyone is just upset because he used the word bullshit. If he had been like, I don't think it's right. Like, I think I have a right to that puck. If he hadn't said that it was bullshit, I don't think people would be like. He was asked directly about it, and he had never said anything about it prior. It's not like he's like I said yesterday. It's not like he's been crying about it the whole time. I just like I get that I have no problem with it saying in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I have no problem with Hockey Hall of Fame being like, well, at this point it's ours now. We can't just give it to you. But this whole like Jack Hughes is a fucking asshole for wanting the puck and for the way he went about it. I think is a little. I just like DJ said. I don't think this is like malicious. I think this whole thing is just kind of like a misunderstanding. He was asked. He gave his gut reaction, and then it just is what it is. I don't think like this. I guess my ultimate take is that like this doesn't. I don't think this should be as bad of a reflection on Jack Hughes as everyone's making it out to be.
I am not a Kalshi guy, but I'm now considering the odds. Like, what do you think the odds are that by the end of this month, Sean is the producer of the Wingmen pod?
2 months podcast.
No,
they hiring Sean?
I'm leaving to produce the new Hughes Brothers podcast.
Oh boy!
You know what?
I would listen to that, honestly. I would definitely rather listen to the Hughes Brothers podcast than the Tkachuk Brothers podcast, because I think that the Hughes would say stuff that is like particularly inflammatory, whether they mean to or not, and that I would be into.
I don't think they were. I think there would be a lot of silence.
I was going to say you would have to.
I
be
would
cool
not
with,
want to produce that.
I was going to say I think you'd have to be cool with the space, and like I don't think that Pete or I could do that. Like if we were producing it, I think eventually we'd be entertained enough by it that we'd be like, I'm just not saying a fucking thing. I'm letting this go, but it would be so uncomfortable. There would be so much silence.
I've long been of the opinion that sports need heels, and sports need guys that you root against or are unlikable in the public perception department.
Like Sean.
Correct. That's why, Sean, you're perfect. You've thrown yourself right on the fire here. We love that about you. No, like even if Jack Hughes is going to continue down this road and fumble a little bit in the media, I'm absolutely cool with it.
But but that's my thing is that he's not trying to be a bad he's not trying to be a villain.
I don't think a lot of heels try.
No, I think the Tkachuks embrace being villains a little bit. I think
Definitely.
Jack Hughes is just trying to answer questions, and he's not very good at it. And then one-line quotes get blown up. And I think he much rather, like, I don't think he'd be an entertaining villain because everybody would be like, we fucking hate you, Jack Hughes. And he'd be like, what do you say, fuck me for? Even if there is a good
entertaining
reason.
Part of it is that he says stuff and then is so confused as to why everybody gets mad at the things that he says. That's very entertaining to me.
Man, I just
I'd rather that than somebody who like intentionally says shit to rile people up, because then it's performative and I'm like, you're just being annoying. If somebody is being their natural selves and they continuously piss people off and it's like, what did I do? That to me is way cooler.
Okay, fair. I just don't want it to be Jack Hughes, because at least in this case, I'm like, I don't want to have to be the guy that's constantly defending the bad guy, and that will be the case if Jack Hughes becomes the villain, because referencing this situation in a vacuum, I don't think he did a damn thing wrong, other than use the word bullshit, I guess.
I do think the Devils need to maybe sign him up for some media literacy or media training classes because like honestly, I wonder if the Devils are like sitting at their offices right now being like, thank God we haven't put together a Stanley Cup run over the past 3 years when people thought we might. This could be real bad for us. This guy might be in front of a lot of microphones if we had made a deep run.
The producers, they needed to not do well.
Yeah.
By the way, just during that conversation, came up with a passion project that I would love for us to do. I don't know if we'll be able to do it. I'll pitch it to you boys after the show. I think that it would be a yes from both of you. The question is, would it be a yes from the other participants, which is usually how these things go anyway. But let's move on to, you want to do GM meetings, or you want to do my fun idea?
Let's do
GM meetings.
Okay. The fun idea is like the glass of wine.
Yeah, yes.
Dinner.
That accompanies, yes.
The rest of the show.
Yes, that accompanies the rest of the show. Pete, you were on Oilers Nation Every Day yesterday, and apparently the theme of it was oops, all seedings chat.
No, I mean, we covered some a wide range of topics, but Liam and Tyler were fighting about seedings and saying that I forget what their take was, but I had an issue with it. Sean, what was it? Because I know it pissed you off too.
They were defending the current playoff format, more or less. Which, to be honest, the more I think about it, my stance on the current playoff format being complete dog shit has softened a little bit. I still would prefer 1 through 8, and I believe you had a take, which I vehemently disagree with, on reseeding the Final Four.
Okay,
I think that idea is terrible, and the only reason I think it's terrible is for tradition's sake, not for any like actual hockey sake. But
that I will classify as like my hot take that I know will upset people, and like I don't care about it enough to fight with anybody, but I think that it could be fun, and we'll get to that. But do you want to set up the GM meetings and the seating of it all?
Yeah, okay. So Gary Bettman says that he's more than comfortable with the current playoff format. Quote, it gives us a sensational first round. Beyond the first, probably the best playoff first round in any sport. It's a little Trumpy.
Very
we get
Trumpy.
more
that was
games
my
and
thought
longer
as well.
series as a result.
Sensational first round, probably the best playoff first round in any sport.
Many are saying it.
More than comfortable. More than comfortable. It gives us a sensational first round. I wish I could do a Trump, but it's actually very good that I can't. Probably the best.
It's pretty good.
No, I can do the beginning of Trump. It's just always
It's the growl.
just growling with the first thing you say. Sean pause.
And then you do the hands. The palms out.
Sean's good at the hands.
His puck. Women's hockey. More than comfortable with the current format. It gives us a sensational first round. Probably the best playoff first round in any sport. We get more games and longer series as a result of the format. And you can always pick at certain situations in any given year and say, well, I'd like it to be different that year. But if you look at the body of work that our playoffs represent over time, what we have now works extraordinarily well. Now, as is currently positioned, the 2 division winners get the 2 wild card teams, and then the divisional middle teams 2 and 3 play each other, as you all well know. Now, the reason Pete and so many others have said we got to do something about this is
I haven't said that.
I was listening to Shop and the Mad Dog. By the way, Sean, apparently
Bulldog.
that's not how you say that. Bulldog. That's not how you
Mad
say
Dog.
that guy's name.
Shoop.
It's Shoop.
Maybe I would have taken time to learn if he had.
Yeah, somebody was like, somebody commented on
they were
the
like,
reel.
Sean,
You're gonna allow DJ to pronounce the name wrong about the guy who called you Kevin Weeks. Yeah, that's the guy you should go out of your way to defend the pronunciation of.
In their defense, they didn't mispronounce Kevin Weeks.
That's true.
They pronounced the name correctly. It was just the complete wrong name.
Okay. So, yes, I've said this year the playoff format is going to get exposed for its stupidity. That doesn't mean that I've said they need to change it, because in typical years, I don't think that it becomes a massive problem. Do I think that it makes the most sense? No, probably not, but I do like a lot of the playoff matchups that we've gotten in the first round. The first round, I think, is the most entertaining. Gary's right. It is very entertaining. It's great. The first round of the playoffs is like the peak of entertainment on a night-to-night basis, but that's because we have the most series, and a lot of the series are very good. The problem is, this year in particular, 3 of the best teams in the entire NHL are coming out of the same division, and this is going to be the first time that the top 3 teams from any conference have come from the same division in 10 years. And then on the other division, it's a mess of shit. In the Pacific Division, it's an absolute circus. So right now, this year, as currently constituted, we're heading into the playoffs where the Central Division is fucking stacked. It has 3 of the best teams in the entire National Hockey League. And then there's a mess in the Pacific. So the discrepancy between like the structure of the playoffs has never been wider than it is under this playoff format than it will be this year. And I think that's what I mean when I say it's going to get exposed a little bit. You're going to have two of the 3 teams from the Central are going to be knocked out in the first 2 rounds. And under no circumstances should a playoff format align so that like the second best team in the league plays the third best team in the league in the first round of the playoffs. That makes no fucking sense.
What about if there was a standings mechanism that got triggered by certain situations where if you do have like the 3 best records or something are all in the same division, then that conference gets sorted in a different way or something like that. And it would be normal unless that happens.
I think that's too complicated. There's no reason to do that. It makes too much sense to just go 1 through 8 in the conferences. There's no reason to not do that. And I get that the NHL says that it wants to promote rivalries, and they're propping up these first rounds and how many games they go and how close the series are. Well, to me, prioritizing like we want to have the most games in the first round is the wrong approach. Like, to me, that just signals that Gary Bettman is looking at this from a business standpoint, where it's like, if we can maximize the gate revenue in round 1 and we can prop up these rivalries in round 1, it's a big win for the league, which I understand from a business standpoint. But the first and foremost, we should be rewarding the teams based off of the regular season performance and structuring the playoffs as such. And rivalries will continue to be built from those matchups 1 through 8. And I still think you're going to get great first round matchups and competitive first round matchups. To me, the only reason that this exists, and it kind of is made more clear by Gary Bettman's quote that says, we get more games and longer series as a result of the format. That's prioritizing the dollars that come in for the National Hockey League.
Of course. And Gary is either, and I'm not, it's just one of the possibilities. He's either lazy or conservative with how he deals with things that could be changed. And you need to look no further than a certain TNT appearance last year where the discussion was being had about teams in states that did not have income tax. And he said, it's a ridiculous conversation. And I just read that as like, I don't want to have to open that and have to talk to all the teams and like relitigate all these things. I wonder if his read on the playoff thing is like, we already have it this way. Let's just do it that way. And I would guess that I don't think that Gary Bettman is lazy. So I would say that some people by nature are a little more conservative, not politically, to like, but this is the way it is. Why change it if we don't have to?
And I don't think that it's broken. Again, like I think that it is flawed. It is not broken. This year in particular, it maybe more skews on the side of broken, but it is a one-off. And you said before the show, like the thing is, this will sort of balance itself out. Like the Pacific won't be as bad next year, and maybe something happens in the Central. Like this year is an outlier with how ridiculous it is, but the format opens itself up to the ridiculousness if something like this happens, and it doesn't need to exist. 1 through 8 is going to have you covered no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, 1 through 8, I think always will make the most sense, but I am clearly in this conversation, I am the most willing to hear out the current format because I do like the rivalry aspect, and I do like that that's what was being pushed when they first did it.
But the rivalry aspect should be built during the regular season.
Yes, you can just do that by making teams play each other more in the regular season.
I want them, if they want to prioritize rivalries, take away half the cross-conference games. I've said this before. Have one game against each cross-conference opponent and alternate home and away, reallocate those games to divisional and conference opponents. Then you're going to build up regular season intrigue. You're going to build up regular season rivalries that then carry into the playoffs and into the first round. You don't have to build them in the first round of the playoffs.
I will say I'll meet you halfway because I do, I do like the home and home with every team cross conference. What if you do home and home with half of the teams?
That's fine.
And then
it's
the other
still
teams,
the same number.
No. You do home and home with half of the teams, and then the other half is you just do one or the other. So that will save you 16 games. That's 16 more games, I believe, unless I fuck that up. It's either 16 or 8 more games that you can play against teams in your conference.
Fine.
That's an improvement.
Fine, yeah. I'll take any additional divisional games that we can get because that's where the intrigue comes in. Like we talk about it, when you look at the slate, the games that appeal to you most are typically games where there are relationships between the two teams. Like if I'm getting more Dallas Stars versus Colorado Avalanche or Minnesota Wild versus Colorado Avalanche or Dallas Stars, like that makes me excited about the slate on any given night, whether it's in October, whether it's in January, whether it's in March. That stuff needs to happen more over the course of an 82 game or 84 game regular season. You need to have the consistency of that intrigue and not just try to build it in the playoffs when they arrive.
Sean?
Couple of things. First off, this is not a defense of Gary Bettman, so everybody fucking relax. But what I will say is, like, and I think you did kind of acknowledge it, like, I think he is right in the sense that it does give us a significantly better first round, and, like, I guess, like, the theory behind it is that, like, people are going to be watching the Cup final anyways, and, like, regardless of where those three teams in the Central end up in the playoff, only one of them's coming out to play in the Cup anyways. The problem is like you also said, and where my issue is just that it's just not fair. Like it's not like being good generally. Obviously, it's not getting you a bye, but in theory, it's giving you an easy first round. And the fact that the second best team in hockey has to play a team that you can't even really say is the third best team in hockey is just like 2A, 2B really. Like they're basically the same. Like that's unfair. As far as like them playing more in the divisions, I guess like if you're Gary Bettman, I'm guessing the response to that would be like not what's the point, but like increasing in-season division games doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to encourage divisional playoff series. Like if anything, I would say that would encourage them more to get to build those rivalries and then almost guarantee that you're getting one of those rivalries in the first round as opposed to throwing it up to chance that you don't get them at all in the playoffs. But yeah, like I said, my stance on it has softened a little bit recently, but it's simply not fair for whoever, and it's also not fair. It's not fair to like to to like the Anaheim Ducks. Like the Anaheim Ducks are going to have to play a team that's better than them for winning their division. Whereas if you just went 1 through 8, I guess they would. Well, I guess they still would because they would be what, the 5th seed.
Yeah,
so
I'm not going to feel bad for the Ducks.
But
like,
I don't feel bad for them. But I guess like in this particular case, it doesn't ultimately matter. It just is not fair. And like I don't want their like nothing drives me crazier than when fan bases like come up with excuses. And I would like the NHL to remove as many potential excuses as possible, one of which being the fact that they just got unlucky and they had to play the second best team in hockey in the first round, especially like if a team's not healthy and like the Oilers, for example, if they get to the playoffs and Leon's not ready for game 1, maybe he's not ready until series 2, and they end up having to play, like, I know that they're not very good this year, so they're not going to be in the exact same, but generally speaking, you should have the time to like work your way into the playoffs if you've earned that as one of the best teams in the division or the conference.
I just don't think there should be a format under any circumstances where the 3 best teams in the league are standing in a room saying, well, 2 of us are going to be dead by the conference final. And that is written in stone. Absolutely no way around it.
You ever seen Squid Game when they have to team up?
Yeah, but there's just no way that an ideal format presents that possibility, and that's what we're going to get this year.
Yeah,
and that sucks.
But I go back and forth on it because like another thing that Liam and Tyler said yesterday is that like there's no Kings Oilers rivalry. Like that's been the first round matchup for the last couple of years that has gotten people the most excited. That does not happen generally. I haven't looked back to see what the 1 through 8 seeding would have been like, but like most likely it definitely doesn't happen as consistently as it has without this playoff format. So like it does accomplish the things that Gary wants it to accomplish, because it definitely is the most interesting first round. I'd be interested in like the numbers as to like the other series. I guess it's really the only NBA you can compare it to. Yeah, I guess that's saying like, oh, we have the longest first rounds when only one other professional sport plays a 7-game first round is like, good for you, Gary. You're better than the NB fucking A.
Right, which is always lopsided anyway.
Yeah. Shaq, can you scroll up a little bit? Because there's a conversation happening in the chat that I want to address, which is that, so why does it really matter when they go out? The best team will win regardless, right?
Oh.
And so, like, yes, like if you want to win the Stanley Cup, you have to beat whoever is in front of you. And the team that wins the Stanley Cup does that, absolutely. But that's sort of twisting the conversation here. It's that later on in those rounds, like it's set up so that teams who don't necessarily deserve to be there, like, are there, you know? Like, how do I say this?
The Oilers or Vegas Golden Knights are going to make the second, like as the playoffs stand right now, they're going to make the second round. One of them is going to make the second round. The reality is that those are probably like the 6th, 7th best teams in the conference. So those teams should not be in the second round. We should be the hockey should be getting better as the playoffs go along, which is not really necessarily what happens with this playoff format.
Yeah.
I mean, but as for what's the problem? If you're the best team, you're going to win no matter what. I say again, the reason we watch sports is because the best team doesn't always win.
Sure, but the reason that we're having this conversation is because we want some of these better matchups later on in the playoffs. Like we want the Western Conference Final to be the 2 best teams in the Western Conference. And just because the teams that get there have beaten the opponents in front of them does not necessarily make them the 2 best teams in the Western Conference.
Yes, although kind of devil's advocate, or I guess again defending the current format, you decide over the course of the playoffs what you want the conference final to be, where you like, as you see how these teams are playing and what they're doing, then you're in front. Like right now, I think you say to anybody, what do you want the Western Conference final to be? I bet a bunch of people would say, oh, in a perfect world, I'd like it to be Avalanche and Stars. We got another close one last night. Wyatt Johnson, friend of the show, unbelievable in the shootout. Love you, buddy. Shout out McDonald's. But as the playoffs go on and say something, I was going to use the Knights as an example, but everyone gets mad when the Knights have any success. So I understandably will leave that alone. But say the Ducks are like blowing doors in the first round and you're like, oh my God, give me a Ducks Cup run right now. You know more and that informs your opinion. So I don't know if I necessarily want the conference final to be the Stars and the Avalanche. I'll say it. I would prefer something like the
Oilers Avalanche.
Kings and the Oilers.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that, like, if that happens under a 1-8 format, your feelings are still the same. You just have more faith in the structure of the playoff format providing the appropriate result.
Yes.
In each round. Like, if the Ducks get matched up, if the Ducks are seeded 5th in the conference and they go balls to the wall and wipe out the 4th place team, and then they wipe out the 2nd place team in the next round, and then they get to the Western Conference Final, you say, well, the Ducks have played awesome in these playoffs, and you don't have any sort of conversation about who they had to play to get there. It just makes too much sense 1-8. So,
Not
like,
to mention,
again, I don't think that this format is broken. This year in particular, it feels like an outlier where it does feel broken because the divisions are so lopsided out west.
And to my previous point, I believe they were an 8 seed, but the 2003 Ducks are a classic example of that, where they play the Red Wings in the first round. And I was watching that series because it's the Red Wings. I want to watch Sergei Fedorov. And the Ducks were fucking awesome in that series. Who the fuck is this goalie? John Sebastian Jaguar. They still got Adam Oates. They got Ruslan Saleh, all these fun players. Paul Correa, of course. And this 8 seed or 7 seed, I forget what they were, team, after 1 or 2 games, me and all of my friends were like, I want the Ducks to win the fucking Stanley Cup this year. So you see more. The playoffs are so fun. It's why we watch them. That I'm always open to changing my mind based on what I'm seeing.
And I will say, based off of the way that things are structured in the Western Conference right now, I would be more interested in the 1-8 matchups than I am currently. Like, as currently constituted, the Avalanche would play the Seattle Kraken in the first round. That remains the same. Anaheim would play Utah, which is like fun, interesting. Then Dallas, Minnesota, Edmonton, Vegas. And then 1-8, you're going to get Colorado, Seattle, Dallas, Vegas.
Wait. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were doing the 1-8 there. I got confused, but yeah, sorry.
Dallas, Vegas, still good. Minnesota versus Utah, still good. And then Ducks versus Oilers. That, to me, way more fair, just as interesting.
Yeah.
One other thing that I have a problem with that I hadn't really considered is that, like, technically speaking, there is a scenario, I think, that the 8th best team, or that, like, a team that would be in the top 8 misses the playoffs entirely because they are, like, if 6 teams from the same division are in the top 6, then that 6th team is going to miss the playoffs, which I know is almost impossible, incredibly rare, but I don't like the fact that they're, technically speaking, the format is such that it could prevent a top 8 team from making the playoffs entirely.
Yeah, that a team with fewer points than you can make the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
I do not like that.
I mean, that exists in the NFL. Doesn't mean that right.
Sucks.
Yeah, I think that we all don't like that about the NFL.
5-5 NFC or 500 NFC South teams making the playoffs is ridiculous. Like, it should be, I guess, in the case of the NFL, the 7 best teams. Like, I think you should get rewarded for winning your division, I guess. So that is, I don't know, it kind of conflicts, but, like, I don't know. I'm not talking basketball book, football book. That's a different situation.
Okay, we're spending a lot of time on this, but frankly, I think Pete's cooking, so I want to stay on it. You also have thoughts on the Final Four that Sean hates.
Yeah, so I think it would be fun. I'm not necessarily strongly advocating for this because I think things would need to be changed. And I'm prioritizing changing the regular season schedule structure over the playoff schedule structure. But I do like the idea of the Final Four teams being reseeded and kind of getting rid of the traditional conference final structure. Take the Final Four teams, reseed them, and then it opens up the possibility of intra-conference Stanley Cup final matchups. Like, you could get, say, Colorado versus Dallas in the Stanley Cup final. Say in a different year, maybe you get Bruins versus Canadiens in the Stanley Cup final, opening up the possibility for every team in the league to be able to meet each other in the Cup final. I know that there are aversions to this based off of tradition, based off of kind of keeping the structure of conference play and the conference championships and things like that. I just really like the idea of any team being able to meet another team in the Cup final. That's very, very intriguing.
You understand that this is very 2024
pandemic-y.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We just need more
I like this. I'm on board with this. It's very radical, but I think I can do it.
I think we just need more pandemics, because that was my favorite part about the pandemic, is that we were forced to do weird shit, and it was a one-off. It was fun for the moment, but I don't ever want to see that shit again unless we have to. There's nothing wrong inherently with it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong inherently with that idea, I guess. I just it's really just a tradition thing. Like, I like it being East versus West. You got to, I don't really have a good argument, to be quite honest, as to why I don't like that idea. I just don't like it.
The only thing that would really be brought into question here is the strength of schedule. So you couldn't make an imbalanced regular season schedule if you're going to reseed the final four teams, because everything needs to be equal. Everybody needs to play each other sort of the same amount of times for it, all things to be equal. I also I don't know, the reseeding also makes it more intriguing in the regular season to bank every single point possible. And that to me is a good byproduct, where even if you have your seeding locked up in the conference for playoff positioning, every point's going to matter if potentially down the road you have to reseed those four teams. So that to me is a positive byproduct, but the negative byproduct is making sure that all things are equal in terms of the regular season scheduling.
I have a reason as to why it's never going to happen.
Go on.
Just like
travel.
The NHL won't go for it. And travel, you could say, is a reason why you should do it, because it reduces the possibility of getting the longest possible travel Stanley Cup final, which has happened 2 years in a row between the Oilers and the Panthers.
But you bump it up around.
I said it seems like it's just for
media,
you're saying because less.
It makes it more likely it can happen.
It makes it.
There's more chance. There's more rounds where it could happen.
It's just as likely that it could happen, but it can happen a round earlier, and then you still have more hockey to play in the Cup final, which would potentially impact the quality of play in the Cup final, which I think is something that the NHL should never be interested in.
So that's one reason, and then the other reason is you get two Pacific Coast teams or Pacific time zone teams,
the market,
or two
Eastern
teams.
Yeah.
So I could see. I mean, you want.
You can't have an Islanders-Rangers Stanley Cup.
This has non-starter from Gary Bettman written all over it, but I think it's a radical idea that I like. Shout out Bernie Sanders.
Gary Bettman might kill you for recommending it, but
I'm not going to be upset if this doesn't happen. I don't think that it is necessary for the NHL to do. It is a fun idea.
Oh man, we should do I'm gonna write this down. A lot of ideas this episode. We should do a GM meetings with Gary Bettman. That's just us and Gary Bettman. And I don't know if we need to record it. We could just report on it the way that the legends in khakis are, where it'd just be Bettman on doing 30 Pride nights per team a season. It's certainly a fun idea, and just tweet out all the quotes, but we're asking all the questions, and it's all what chaos themed stuff. Not bad there. But Gary Bettman was maybe getting in fights with people, or people were trying to fight him. Pat Verbeek apparently had a quote testy exchange with Gary Bettman regarding goaltender interference. Pat Verbeek's got to quit having testy exchanges, because he's benching one of his players as a result of these testy exchanges.
I feel like that's all Pat Verbeek has are testy exchanges.
Exclusively testy exchanges. Eric Tulsky, according to league sources, this is from The Athletic, Hurricanes GM Eric Tulsky, who, if you don't know who this is, it's like the Austin Powers of the NHL. Just think of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and you're getting...
How many Austin Powers are in the NHL? It's the second guy you've called the Austin Powers of the NHL this episode.
Think of this guy as like the Austin Powers of the NHL. GM Eric Tulsky raised the ire of Bettman when he suggested the standard had slipped on headshots. The commissioner is said to have retorted that it was Tulsky's team owner, Tom Dundon, who was making him bring that up, passing the buck there. Whatever the case, managers were buzzing about it after the meetings. Tulsky also raised concerns over the shifting standard of goalie interference. Video review in lieu of the Verbeek conversation, seeking clarity on it as well. Now, we learned first about this from an Alan Walsh tweet. If you don't know who Alan Walsh is, think of him as like Austin Powers of the NHL. He's a player agent. And he said that, like, hearing a general manager went after Gary Bettman over goaltender interference, or over how
Headshots.
lax they are on headshots. It was really spirited, and this guy's my hero. I naturally quote tweeted that, saying, I disagree. I think this GM should be banned. You don't talk to the commissioner like that. I don't care who it is, even if it's Stan Bowman. How do you feel about these GMs just letting the commish have it?
I love it. And
Me too.
You know what I love the most about it is that it's two GMs, one of which is probably the guy that I would least want to fight. Pat Verbeek looks like an absolute psychopath, want no part of any altercation with Pat Verbeek. And the other is probably the nerdiest GM in the league. Not probably, absolutely the nerdiest GM in the league, who is probably ranked 32nd on guys who are least scary to fight.
Why is chat talking about Powers Booth right now? That is hilarious. It's a great character actor. By the way, Eric Tulsky, we've discussed this, is the Danny Elfman of the NHL. He's an NHL general manager who looks like Danny Elfman of Oingo Boingo and many movie score fames.
But I'm right.
Yes, that like
Oh, yeah.
one person you don't want to fuck with, the other you don't want to argue with.
But if they approached you both to fight, you'd be like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
going on
like,
here?
I would have to imagine that's what I was thinking about the whole time you were setting it up. Was like Gary Bettman just was like getting dwarfed by Pat Verbeek, although Pat Verbeek's not. He's significantly taller than Gary Bettman, I guess. But just like afraid for his life, and then he turns around and, as much respect as possible, like the biggest nerd in the world is there, being like, "I've got a problem too," just being like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
I think that Eric Tulsky is the kind of guy who would come to a fight with like a wildly MacGyvered weapon that you're like, what the hell is that? Fallout style. And
That or
Pat
he would show
Verbeek
up with like.
would break his own glasses and shank you with them.
I feel like Tulsky would either do that or he'd show up with like some like random like Japanese like ninja weapon. Like he would show up with like nunchucks or something. Like someone would be like, why do you have those weapons, Eric Tulsky?
Did you know about this, Pete?
What?
That chat said that we needed to check our numbers on Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman is now
Carrot Top?
fucking, look at that body.
I'm looking.
So like
Respectfully.
jacked.
Yeah.
Who is that? Who are you talking about?
Tulsky doesn't have that. So
No.
I apologize. Tulsky, someone said also might poke eyes.
Yeah, for sure. But that's because that's all he can do, right?
Yes.
I don't respect to Eric Tulsky. Apologies that you are a fascinating and impressive human being. I would not guess that fighting is super high up on your list of talents.
He's
But
an analytics guy. He's a numbers guy.
Pat Verbeek is like, I think, one of the top 3 general managers in the NHL that I would not want to be in an altercation with. Steve Yzerman is also in that list for sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say, no, I won't say it. I was gonna say that there's a GM who, if it were a sanctioned, we'll just say boxing match, would want to box. I would say both of us actually.
Yes. We're all looking for the guy who wants to fight us.
Yes. Let's get to my.
You say that, and I don't know. I still don't know which one.
Don
you're talking
Sweeney
about.
would sign up in a
Yeah,
heartbeat
if there
to
were
kick
like
my
a charity
ass.
boxing
That's not-
match.
that's not who I thought you were talking about.
Upset that I think that Don Sweeney probably wants to box Pete more than he wants to box me.
That's because I tweeted that I wanted to kill him once.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. I did the shoot that guy meme after he traded Brad Marchand, which
I didn't know about. I would have told you not to do that.
it's a funny meme.
Yeah.
I was fairly confident you were talking about James Dolan.
I don't think that Don Sweeney particularly enjoyed the shoot that guy meme that I posted about him.
Or at the very least, the Bruins didn't.
The Bruins didn't. No.
Shout out. I think some people with the Bruins still like us.
Some definitely don't.
We'll figure it out.
Sorry for posting good cinephile memes.
Sabres love us.
Sorry for showing
Sabres love us all.
Sorry for being a cinema enjoyer. Sorry for going to the movies and keeping the movie industry alive, Don Sweeney.
Yeah.
You've done a good job. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Didn't trade Victor Arvidsson. When you got a young 1C like that, you hold on to them. All right, fun idea time. I was in Florida this week. You may have,
really?
Yes, I was in Florida for a bit.
Fun idea coming out of Florida.
And I have a Panthers idea. Okay? The Panthers, we've talked about the Panthers and their draft pick situation. It's protected, but it's going to fall in the top 10, so they're probably going to keep it and not send it to Chicago as part of the Seth Jones trade. We've talked about Elliot Friedman saying that they might nosedive to try to make sure that pick is high and that they can keep it. So, of course, we and others, but I think that you were the first to bring up that damn it, they're going to get Gavin McKenna. Mm-hmm. They're going to get a high draft pick, and they are going to get Gavin McKenna. Right now, the Panthers have the 9th worst record, which means that they could either pick, if everything were locked in right now, they could pick first, they could pick second, they could pick 9th, 10th, or 11th. What if they get that first overall pick? They take Gavin McKenna, or they take Keaton Verhoff. That could be really cool. What if that doesn't happen, though? What if they get the second pick? What if they get the 9th pick? Or what if, and I've looked at their schedule and I've looked at how things could happen, what if they keep losing and they don't win the lottery, but just by virtue of them having a bad season, they get the 4th pick or the 5th pick or the 6th pick? Not the first overall pick, but still a really premium high draft pick. They could, of course, they could draft a star to replenish their system, get a young player. Who wouldn't want Stenberg? Who wouldn't want Keaton Verhoff? They could do that. Or they could do something else. They could trade that pick for... Nope, other one.
What? Oh.
For Brady Tkachuk.
Interesting.
Let it settle. We have all the time in the world. We have all the time in the world.
If this had come before the Seth Jones thing, Pete's reaction would have been the exact same as it was for the Seth Jones thing.
No, like I'm not going to say that it's. I'm not going to poo-poo any trade off the bat immediately because I poo-pooed the Seth Jones thing,
well,
and
that's
DJ got very mad, and he was like, "You can't poo-poo it. It's outside the box thinking." But it is plausible. And turns out a year later, he was right.
I said something really... Do you remember what I said? I said something really mean that I regretted.
You're probably like, you're being an asshole or something.
I think I called you an asshole, and I think I said, like, we're doing our own show here. We can't wait for Frank Saravalli to report something for us to say that it could happen. And you were like, I don't do that. And I was like, well, then don't do it.
Okay, so here's what I will say about this one. We are not the first show to suggest trading for Brady Tkachuk. I've had enough. I've had enough of the Brady Tkachuk trade rumors. I'm not going to put him in the same category as the Bowen Byram. We need to take a timeout from talking about this because I'm sick of it, and just call me when something happens. But I have exhaustion. I have fatigue when it comes to Brady Tkachuk trade rumors.
We have been talking about Brady Tkachuk to the Florida Panthers since we were watching Four Nations. And I remember sitting there in the Garden. Sean, you remember that? We're talking about, like, man, everyone's going to be trying to get Brady Tkachuk after this tournament. And obviously, like, the second place your brain goes, your first or second place is, oh, well, tell you should be trying to get him is Bill Zito. Reunite the brothers. And it doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons. But here's where it starts to make sense. This draft pick thing and that pick not being protected they will have the ammunition if they want to make a Brady Tkachuk trade happen. Sean, throw up the hypothetical trade I put up there, which is that the Panthers get Brady Tkachuk. He's got 2 more years after this at $8.25 million or 8.7, something like that. I forget. The Senators get Evan Rodriguez. That's $3 million. The first round pick from the Panthers, which could be first, second, third, whatever. I don't think they trade it if it's first, but say it's second, third, fourth, fifth, something like that. They've also got 2 second round picks to the Panthers this year. They could trade either their own or the Capitals. And look, maybe you like, do you think this is a fair trade? Do you think that Ottawa should want more? But I'll note, Brady Tkachuk has a no move. Brady Tkachuk has 2 years left on his deal after this, and really can control where he goes. And if the Senators think he's not going to stay, which raise your hand if you think Brady Tkachuk is going to stay, now that we all have both of our hands free, we can continue the conversation. I think the Senators might feel this offseason will be the time to do it. And a team that he would want to go to has a premium asset to give you. I think that now, you're right, we're not the first to say, hey, Brady Tkachuk to the Panthers. I think we are the first to make it make sense.
Yeah, I mean, does the money work with...
Yes, the Panthers have $15.5 million in cap space this offseason. If they do that trade where they send $3 million out in Evan Rodriguez, apologies to Evan Rodriguez for the sake of this exercise, they would still have $10.25 million in cap space. They don't have a lot of players to sign. They do need to figure out their goalie situation, but I think they can get Stu for under $10.25 million or whatever they do in net. They would have the money to make this work. A big question would be, though, you are really leaning into, I mean, Brady Tkachuk's young. He's 26 years old. So you are still set up to be awesome for a very long time. You're just moving off the possibility of potentially getting a young player who will be cost effective for a longer time.
Yeah, and I think that you're committing a lot of money to a lot of players. Like, you are really, especially considering Brady Tkachuk is going to need a new contract in a couple of years.
Yes.
You are committing a lot of money to a core.
Lot of money.
A core that is aging, and like a lot of that money is being handed out to a handful of players. It does make sense in the idea and the concept of it. I think that Ottawa would want more.
I think they would too.
And I think you definitely need to make sure that that pick is locked in before you make the trade. Like, you're not taking...
No, right.
You're not making that trade with a lottery ticket. You need to know what the pick is and where you're picking.
Yeah, I mean, you would do it post-lottery for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Sean?
We referenced it earlier. My response when DJ sent me this, DJ said, "What do you think of that?" And I said, "I don't get why either side would do it, but it would be fun." I don't understand why either team would make this trade, because if you're
for Florida, you don't understand it? I mean, Florida makes a lot of sense to me.
So the reason I say that is because the only reason I'm doing it if I'm Ottawa is if it's a top 3 pick. If it's Verhoff, Stenberg, or obviously McKenna. And if I have a top 3 pick and I'm the Florida Panthers, I'm not trading that for Brady Tkachuk, respectfully. Not in the situation that they're in.
I think I would.
Not when they need, but they because the thing is they especially if they want to capitalize on this window, I think they are better served by having an NHL player on a rookie contract than paying all of this money, like you said, to a handful of players.
From a financial standpoint, I agree with you. Like, I think as a perennial Stanley Cup contender who's trying to keep their window open, it is very important to get guys in there who are effective on ELCs. That has been proven time and time again, 100%. But Florida has also exhibited a willingness to go out and get top-tier players while also identifying low-cost players that fit into their lineup who they can maximize value from. And, like, Florida has obviously established a window that they want to win in now, and it makes more sense to go get a guy like Brady Tkachuk and reinforce that right now, today, rather than banking on a guy on an ELC who might need a few years to develop.
Are you So, I mean, presumably you're doing this and extending Brady long term.
Yeah.
So what are you going to have to pay him for that?
I wondered if the Florida of it all, no income tax, and playing with his brother, it would have something of a Solani and Korea teaming up in Colorado type of thing, where like, let's make less money so we can do this thing together. And I think that would be believable that would be believable with those guys. I think.
But Matthew is already signed long term, right?
Yes.
So like that's the thing. Are you gonna, as much as playing with your brother is awesome, are you gonna convince Brady? Because you can't have both of them take less money and balance it out. You're gonna have to have Brady take significantly less money, at least over the what would be
no tax.
4 years left on Tkachuk's contract. What's that?
No tax.
No tax. Yeah, I know. And Zito's also an awesome GM, so I'm sure he can figure it out. I just like I said, you cannot pass up on a potential franchise-changing player for Brady Tkachuk.
Brady Tkachuk's not having a good season. Brady Tkachuk is awesome, and I feel like there's a lot of people who watch hockey. Maybe it's because he's in Ottawa, and maybe it's because he's better when he plays in the Olympics, so people think he's just like some kind of weird NHL player. Brady Tkachuk is awesome and goes without saying, like the ultimate dog.
Yeah.
Endearing.
Yeah.
But he's
a big game player.
That I don't think that that's something. Obviously, you don't think you could have too much of it, but I don't think that's something that Florida is necessarily desperate for. Although who knows what they're going to be after this fallow year? Like I guess it's kind of hard to judge them. I think Brady's awesome. But if you have the opportunity, again, to get especially, there's no shot in hell you can trade the first overall draft pick. No.
Yeah, I think ultimately this conversation comes down to where the pick is, that pick this year, where it lands, and what your scouting department tells you about the player that might be available that you're interested in at that pick. Because as we've seen with like the New York Islanders and a Matthew Schaefer type player, a player on an ELC who comes in and is ready from day one can change the entire trajectory of your team on a league minimum contract, which is an absolute gold mine for a general manager. And if you believe that you're going to get one of those players with the draft pick, there's no way you trade it for Brady Tkachuk. But I'm not going to say that if they have the 4th or 5th pick, that does not become a very interesting conversation.
So that's ultimately the crux of my point, I think, is that I think the overlap between where Florida would be comfortable, I don't think there's an overlap between where Florida would be comfortable trading that pick and where that pick is worth enough to trade your captain. Because it's not just a good player, it is their captain. And like, you're not trading that guy for a 4th overall pick after those big 3 are already gone. Like, obviously there's more to the package, but like, I don't know. I just don't see that. I just don't see how they could make those two ends meet, I guess.
Part of it is, though, again, I'll say, like, the Senators aren't in a super advantageous position with this thing because you can't lose him for nothing. And I think, like, none of us think that he's a lifer. None of us think that he's going to be with the Senators forever. And I think that we all maybe expect that because he is UFA at the end of this contract, that he would just leave, sign somewhere in America. Just my guess.
Here's the other thing.
You got to get something for him. And this would be, like, say it's a 3rd overall pick or whatever. And I'll note for the Panthers, Keaton Verhoff is a right D. That's like the only thing the Panthers don't really need. Actually, the Panthers actually don't really need anything. But, like, Seth Jones isn't going anywhere. And what's that?
It's the top of the draft, though. Like, you got if you have a 3rd overall pick and he's the 3rd player left. I think.
And I would rather have Keaton Verhoff than Seth Jones or Aaron Ekblad or any of those guys.
Look what the Islanders did. They had a top right D, and we're like, we got a new one. We'll trade this one.
Get ready to learn Dallas. I mean, you would have to trade Aaron Ekblad. I think
they'd be happy to do that if Keaton Verhoff fell into their lap.
I would be happy to do that. I don't think.
One last thing on the Senators too is that, like, the Senators may or may not make the playoffs this year, but I think we talked about it earlier that, like, to a certain extent, this is like maybe a baby fallow year for them. They just, like, if they get the goaltending they need, whatever, like, they'll be a good team. Assuming that they're better next year than last year, like, at what point do you have to just kind of do the own rental thing, or at least for next season? Like, obviously, you would have to trade him prior to next. Like, you don't want to see if you can try and do something with Brady Tkachuk one last time before you know.
Yeah, you do have
trade
another
him.
summer to. Yeah.
So like, but I know like this is the summer with the draft pick. So it kind of, if you're at least with Florida, it would have to happen this summer. But like, I don't know. If I'm Ottawa, I think I look at it being like, if we can win with him next year, who knows if he'll stay? And then, yeah, you have another year where if you can't do anything and it looks like it's moving in the wrong direction and you don't think he'll resign,
I mean,
then you do it.
The longer you wait, the less value you have attached to the player as well. Like,
True.
That's something to consider.
I would love if, Chad, if we have any Senators fans left in the world, I would love Senators fans' thoughts on this, because I know there's a faction that he's never going anywhere, leave us alone kind of thing, and I absolutely respect that. That's how fans should feel until a move is made. But if you got a top 3 pick looking you in the eye, or say it's the 4th pick or it's the 5th pick or something like that, is that something that you would want to do? And to put a cap on this,
maybe put out a statement. And let us know
put out a statement, please. All I'm saying is that when you think of last year and the cap restraints that they had going into the offseason, we never would have been able to dream that there was a possibility where they could potentially go out and try to unite the Tkachuk brothers without doing something absolutely crazy. And we're not saying it's going to happen. I am saying, though, that we've reached a place where a Brady Tkachuk to the Panthers thing could happen, could be possible. The pieces are there and the math is there if both sides want to make that deal happen. And that's interesting as fuck to me, because you both weighed in on whether you would do it from whatever. Like, I don't know the answer to that. And I think that the smarter play, probably, especially if it's a top 3 pick, is to replenish the system. Make yourself the New England Patriots, where you've got the Sasha Barkov who's gonna be there, and just keep turning over the supporting cast and bringing in the right people. You've also got Paul Maurice who's gonna be there. Keep just bringing in the right people around them. But if they so wanted to, and they really wanted to lean into this "we are some bad motherfuckers" thing, you can get Brady Tkachuk and have a hell of a party for, like, this could still be another crazy 6 fucking years while you've got good years of production from Brad Marchand for, 3-4 more years. Matthew's still there. Barkov's going to be there. Like, you can really make that. What's that?
I said Stuart Skinner's going to be there.
Stuart Skinner's going to be there. You still got Gus Forsling. He's 29 years old. Like, this it would shorten the window, but we're talking about still having like a pretty awesome window, because Brady Tkachuk is a 26-year-old like face of the franchise type player.
I'm tired of the Brady Tkachuk trade talk, but this is the most interesting discussion I've seen attached to it.
Thank you.
Put
a lot of work into it.
Well, I guess not one last thing, but I think even as ridiculous, or whatever ridiculous is, like the Seth Jones still seemed more ridiculous to me, and that happened. So who knows? And also, I think I don't think. Oh, fuck! What was I going to say? Jarmo Kekalainen should trade for Brady Tkachuk. That's I would just want to put that out there. What I was going to say is I don't want him to get traded because we keep getting July 1 fucked for us. So just hold on to that guy for dear life and let that guy go to free agency in 2 years.
That could be a good
for
one.
Us, for our sake.
On the Sabres, Sean, I've been thinking about. I do not own a Sabres jersey, and I want to. Like, if we
Sabres jersey,
if we go to Buffalo and we go to games or whatever, I want to dress the part. We went to Philly, I got a Gritty jersey. Who should I want for a jersey? I feel like I can't take Kesselring because that's Pete's domain. Right now, leader in the clubhouse for me is Beck Mallenstein. Is that crazy?
I think a little bit. That to me feels like stolen valor. I'm not going to lie to you. I think you should get Ryan McLeod jersey.
Stay in my lane.
Yeah, you weren't really in the trenches with Beck Mallenstein like we have been.
Tell me about it.
No, I mean, Beck Mallenstein is just one of those guys that, like, I think he reminds me, and not for any actual hockey reason, he reminds me of Paul Gaustad. Like, back in the day, there's just, like, guys on the Sabres that are just, like, probably not a lot of people who aren't Sabres fans know this guy, but he is a real, like, engine, like, heart and soul kind of guy. He's playing hockey the right way for the Buffalo Sabres. I like McMallison at this point. I may or may not have requested him to be traded earlier this very season, but I'm back around. I think for you, I would like either for you specifically, Ryan McLeod makes the most sense to me because regardless of how that goes, it ages well. It either is you got a great player jersey, or you have like a trophy for the Savoy trade. But yeah, also, and I know that
UPL not bad
for Sam Carrick. UPL's good. UPL's a little, especially if you go UPL's a little basic. UPL, you see a lot of UPL jerseys. I think McLeod makes the most sense for you, but I also would have no problem with you going Sam Carrick because that would be fun.
Chat says, what about if I'm getting gritty jerseys? Pete also got a gritty jersey, right? Yeah, you got the white one.
We don't.
A Sabretooth jersey?
No, you can't. Sabretooth, because Sabretooth doesn't wear a number. He wears
It's
a paw. And they don't just be handing those out.
Buddy, you're acting like I don't own a fucking sewing machine.
No, I am acting. No, I'm making those statements with full knowledge that you have a sewing machine.
But I feel like if there's a paw on it and you wear that jersey, it actually looks like you're trying to dress up as the mascot. Whereas like a gritty jersey, you're just like, looks like you like gritty.
Yeah.
Damn.
Plus, like gritty's a little more like gritty. Damn well might as be a player.
Okay,
Gritty
so
is as well known.
I wanted Malin Goat, but I understand if that seems more like a fan favorite type of thing. And if you're not like if they're not officially your team, you can't wear those kinds of, like it would be like if someone were like, "Oh, I'll check out a Boston Bruins game. Let me get a Sean Corrali jersey." People would be like, "Fuck you. You don't get to do that."
Well, the difference is that the Bruins aren't really that good. So if you're getting a Sean Corrali jersey, that's hilarious. if you're getting this, and granted, this is an entirely like selfish perspective on it. Like it is just like I guess I don't know how Bruins fans view Corrali, but like for Sabres fans right now, like Beck Malenstein's that dude.
Speaking of sewing machine, my Aaron Frankel stuff came in.
Right on.
My materials to make an Aaron Frankel jersey. Yes. I'm about to phantom thread my fucking head off.
Can I ask? Can we talk about Mason McTavish?
Yes, please. He's getting health bombed 2 games in a row, and this is a weird one.
I like the web that you're weaving with this with the theory here.
Oh, I have a theory.
Oh,
yep.
I didn't know there was a theory.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pretty good one.
Okay, I have a theory, but I'll say that I then listened to Elliot talk about this, and he said the exact same thing. So it's a great minds or a great mind and my mind both arrived at the same thing. So if you do not know who Mason McTavish is, think like Austin Powers type player.
God.
Top 3 pick. He's still 23 years young.
Yes.
Really exciting player and has had his good moments with the Ducks. Plays center, and the story with him this year was there was a contentious, testy negotiation between his camp and the Ducks as he was a restricted free agent. He missed a lot of camp, ended up signing a contract right before the regular season. Does this remind you of anybody? Has not had a good season and has been healthy scratched the last 2 games. My theory on this thing is, does it sound like anyone else you've heard of? Sean, you know who I'm talking about here?
Well, no. All I was going to say is that it's a big season for or a big time for Verbeek being testy with people.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's all he ever is.
All he ever is. I'm guessing you're referencing the greatest player of all time, Connor McDavid.
No, I'm referencing Jeremy Swayman, who experienced this last year with the Bruins and missed camp, signed at the beginning of the regular season, and did not have a good season. Like we probably lied and said that he was fine.
Last year?
Like, yeah.
He had a bad season with the exception of like a month or 2. It was like December to February. He was pretty good.
So, I mean, that sounds exactly like Stuart Skinner. So he didn't have a good season by his standards. Definitely didn't have a good season by someone who makes $8 million plus. I think he makes 8.25, 8.5, something like that. And is this what's happening now again with Mason McTavish? Because my theory and my read on this is there something to be learned from having these negotiations for RFAs cost players camp? And what's the side that addresses it? Is this players need to tell their agents, get this thing done so I can get into camp? Or is this a owners tell managers, get this thing done so we don't get a shitty season out of this guy?
I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I think that there is definitely plausibility that a contentious season starting off on the wrong foot can poison the well for the remainder of that season. And I don't know if that's exactly what's happening here. The Ducks are a really interesting, weird team, and it's a new coach. That could be part of it too.
Yeah.
I definitely will not rule out the possibility of ugly negotiations having a prolonged effect on the season of Mason McTavish.
You talk about off ice stuff making its way onto the ice. Typically, you're talking about things in the personal life or communication between players in the room or whatever. Negotiations, I think, are probably as big an off ice thing that can make their way onto the ice. And we just don't really think about it a lot. I think like if a guy's contract is coming up, you think, okay, maybe he's worried about what he's going to make or whatever. But when it's so public that the team and the player are far apart or that they're not budging on their stances, and then finally they agree to a contract and you're like, damn, took you long enough, but at least that's over. It's not always over.
Right.
Because now you've got a player who's cold and comes in, and not to speculate, but I know that people certainly did it around Boston where people were like, what does Jeremy Swayman's teammates think of the fact that he held out, even though he didn't hold out, he didn't have a contract, but like that it took this long? Shouldn't he have just taken what they were offered? Shouldn't he have been a better team player? There's so many fucking things that can come into play there. I'll tell you what though, I'm seeing a lot of your people, Boston Bruins fans, saying he's fallen out of favor. Give me Mason McTavish.
100%.
After what happened with, I mean, if it's worked with Casey Middlestat, shit, it'll work and then some. Are you questioning if it's worked with Casey Middlestat?
No, I mean, Casey Middlestat is 1/3 of the Who Want Me line, which has been the Bruins' best line. So I'm just saying, like, I don't like the stink that you're attaching to Casey Middlestat.
I'm talking about the pre-Who Want Me stink. And granted, Craig Button, I am not. Yes. I was always riding for Casey Middlestat. Sean made fun of us when we were excited that the Bruins got Casey Middlestat.
Yeah, like so EC Diaz saying Verbeek did the same thing with Zegras. Yeah, I mean, when we talked about McTavish in the contract negotiations at the beginning of the season, we were like, does Verbeek know that he doesn't have to piss off every RFA that comes across his desk? So yeah, like I know that this may actually be like a problem with the way that Verbeek is kind of handling his RFAs, and it's a way that it extended a problem in Boston. The Bruins should absolutely be interested in buying low here. So should a number of other teams, especially if they're teams that like were interested in Robert Thomas and don't like the price on Robert Thomas. Well, then you've got an opportunity to go get a really young guy who's a good player who's fallen out of favor, and you can buy low. And I still think that Mason McTavish is a really good player. I'm not going to read into too much of what's happened this year. I've seen enough tape of Mason McTavish to be like, that's a player I want on my team.
Bruins first round pick for Mason McTavish?
I would do it.
I would do it too.
They've got 4 over the next 2 years?
Yes.
Use one of them on Mason McTavish. Absolutely.
Although, Yeti store employee voice, they might have 3 over the next 2 years.
That's true.
And 5 over what would that be? 5 over the next 3 years. That might be a 2028 pick.
I mean, the Bruins need to get a center no matter where they find him. And if you're able to turn Matthew Poitras or Mason Lohrei and turn them into a chip for Mason McTavish, absolutely go do that.
Oh my God. Yeah, just be like, you know what? You want a John Carlson replacement? We got the guy. His name's Mason Lohrei. They're indistinguishable. You can't tell the fucking difference, except one's young and hot and cool. Everyone wants. Think of this guy. He's like the fucking Austin Powers of the NHL right now. This is your guy.
The scouting report has long said that Mason Lohrei is the Austin Powers of hockey.
Yes.
Although Mason Lohrei, there have been some moments recently where Mason Lohrei have been like,
damn,
player?
Where he's
a serious player?
He's doing that stuff that make you say "grr, baby," very grr, that make you say "yeah, baby."
What's the stance on purring? We've ruled out moaning. We've ruled out. I
would rather you strictly moan than purr.
Damn. Sean is anti-moaning.
Sean, what do you know about?
No. I said I would rather you
Oh,
strictly moan than purr. I'm anti-furry.
Okay.
Sean, what do you know about? How does that feel, baby? Lower.
I know.
How does
not
that
a
feel,
damn
baby?
Thing. I know not a damn thing about Austin Powers.
Really?
Assuming that's what you were referencing.
You haven't watched Austin Powers Goldmember?
No.
Perhaps like the funniest movie of the last 30 years. I haven't watched it in forever.
You think Goldmember?
Yes.
That's the one with Beyonce.
Yes.
That was the one where I was like, we can stop doing these.
I mean, I haven't watched it since I was probably like 13 years old, but that shit hit when I was 13, pal.
Oh, I mean, like when I was a kid, I was like middle school, high school when those movies were coming out. If you were to ask me at the end of the run of those 3 movies, who are the prettiest people that have ever lived, I'd be like, in no particular order, Elizabeth Hurley, Heather Graham, and Beyonce Knowles.
Yes. Pretty much.
I wasn't even in school yet when the last Austin Powers movie came out. Goldmember came out in 2002.
Damn, Chad is cooking me for saying Goldmember. I loved Goldmember in middle school. Apologies if it has not held up, but I do remember that shit being hilarious.
I think of the 3, I was definitely The Spy Who Shagged Me. I think that's a lot of people's favorite. Great soundtrack, Beautiful Stranger from Madonna. Really, really good stuff. Everybody check out, thank you to Austin Powers. What's the slate looking like, buddy?
Got a lot of games.
A lot of games. Men's games. This is a robust slate. Do we have 10 here?
+1.
What's a team with a bad goal differential? +1. Smoking a pancake, says chat. All right, there's 11 games. You got the Jets at the Boston Bruins, 7 p.m. Eastern, United States and Canada. That is, of course, a Blake Wheeler Bowl. You got the Islanders at the Ottawa Senators. That's at 7 p.m. Habs versus Red Wings, 7 p.m. That's a Jeff Petrie Bowl,
You
right?
gonna skip Islanders Ottawa Bowl?
Islanders and Ottawa Bowl.
It's a Travis Hamonic Bowl.
Oh, really good. Yup. The Rangers at Blue Jackets, 7:30 p.m. And that is the
Famous one here.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
It's a Rick Nash Bowl.
Oh, not even what I was thinking. It's a very
It's
recent.
an Anthony Duclair Bowl. Oh, no.
Yes.
Did Duclair play for the Blue Jackets?
Yeah.
It's an Artemi Panarin Bowl, of course.
Oh, yeah. You got the Blackhawks at the Minnesota Wild. That is another Nick Foligno revenge game. He's pissed. He wants his pound of
Wait,
flesh.
did we just get those back to back or like twice?
I think
this
so.
Yep.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we'll see. We'll
Not
see
mad
if
about
he
it,
gets that pound of flesh. You got the Kraken at the Predators at 8 p.m. Panthers at Oilers, 9 p.m. That is Oilers Pride Night. Looking forward to seeing what they do. If
So the
Hunter,
Rangers are going to lose tonight.
What's that?
I said so the Rangers are going to lose tonight. They're just distracted by any Pride Night.
Yeah,
They're too busy watching the
Yes.
Oilers game. They're going to lose against the Blue Jackets.
Oh, if there are any shots of Rangers players with the iPad on the bench, please send them to us, and we will speculate that they are watching. That they are A, watching Oilers Pride Night, and B, hate watching off campus.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
Too straight.
I put this one, by the way, as a must-win for the Edmonton Oilers. Got to get points against bad teams right now. You got the Lightning at the Canucks. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern, the United States and Canada. We have a do we have a mostly? Yes, this is a slate
This
in
is
which
Oops All Tucks.
it's Oops All Tucks.
What
you
the
got
fuck?
Lightning Canucks at 10, Mammoth Golden Knights at 10
On ESPN Plus, though.
on ESPN Plus. Apologies to the Golden Knights. You will lose that game. You got you got a Buffa Shark Bowl. 10 p.m.
I was going to bring this up earlier when we were talking about the scheduling. I don't need the Buffalo Sabres to play the San Jose Sharks twice in a week. I'm going to take it because they got a game to play tonight. I enjoy watching the Sharks, but there no reason we shouldn't have another Sabres Leafs game, for example. over the Sabres playing the San Jose Sharks twice in a week.
This is a good slate for me, personally, because I'm going to the movies tonight and will not be back until a little bit later after the game starts. So getting Oops All Tucks means...
What time are you doing a movie?
It is at 6 p.m., which means that it'll start at like 6:30 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to get...
Tough when your team plays at 7, but...
Yeah, honestly,
he's out on the Bruins.
I'm not out on the Bruins, but I could use a little mental vacation from the Bruins.
Fair enough. This works for me too because I got to pick someone up at the airport at like 8:30, so I'll be able to watch the Sabres game with no interruptions.
Damn, you ready to pick us up from the airport? We're coming to Buffalo soon, buddy.
Yeah,
soon.
brother. Man, I love when people come to Buffalo because it gives me a reason to eat as many wings as possible, more or less. I get to go to the restaurants in the city that I don't normally go to.
Just go to Magic
Finally,
City.
An excuse for one of the fellas to eat wings.
Yeah.
The final of the 4 tucks is Flyers at LA Kings at 10 p.m. Eastern United States and Canada.
You probably
That
could
is
skip that one.
Armenian Heritage Night.
Can't skip
So
that one.
I got a Pride Night and an Armenian Heritage Night. 2 of my favorite things, one of which I actually am.
I believe in the chat, I think it was Stephanie was like, DJ, I'm going to Armenian Heritage Night, so if you want me to pick you up anything, let me know.
Thank you so much. Famously, I'm not the person that gets sent stuff on this show, which is quite all right, not complaining. Please, please, please save your money, but I hope that you can get stuff for yourself. The Kings are already, love the Kings, are already sending some Armenian Heritage Night stuff our way, so we will be good and covered there. However, if anyone at the... well, no, it's a Sharks game. I was going to say, if anyone wants to send me a Beck Malenstein jersey, so...
A Beck Malenstein Sharks jersey, if they're sending out jerseys that aren't screen seen, might as well.
Yeah, fake, yeah.
It's true.
I mean, I'm sure that there's like a Beck Malenstein Capitals jersey out there that...
Absolutely get that. If you can get your hands on that, absolutely do that. And I would honestly... rather you wear a Beck Malenstein Capitals jersey to the Sabres playoffs than any Sabres jersey, because that would be fucking hilarious.
That would rock. People be, oh, a Caps fan? I'd be like, nah, man. Something's more important than the game.
Malin-head over here.
Yeah, just a
Malin-head.
The reason I called him Malin Goat earlier is that I saw like BR Open Ice or somebody posted some clip of, it was like McKinnon or McDavid or something being like, player does sick thing. And like one of the comments was, bro thinks he's Malin Goat.
Bro, Sabres fans are the best. We're having
They are
such a
having
good time.
so much fun being
I was
cocky
thinking about
as
this.
fuck.
I was thinking about it earlier. Like, there have been so many years where I've just been thinking, like, it's a sports, man. It's gonna come around eventually. And then all of a sudden, it just was here, and I was like, oh God, I have to enjoy this while I can because it's happening. I wasn't prepared for it. Yeah, everybody just seems like I think Buffalo might burn to the fucking ground at the end of this playoff run, regardless of how it ends.
I can't wait. Oh, Chad's talking about Beck Malenstein now. Yeah, Sean, I might. You might hate me. I think I might just.
Honestly, fucking go crazy. Get a Beck Malenstein jersey.
I mean, you're allowed to get any Oilers jersey you would want, but I don't want my excitement for the Sabres to come off as anything you don't want it to be. Like, I will be as quiet and hang back. But you do know I am so excited. It's really because of you and because I love you that I want like the Sabres to do so well. It's why I root for the Bills a lot, because I have friends who are Bills fans, and I'm like, look, I know it's probably annoying my excitement, but like I want you to be happy. I'll shut the fuck up, I promise. But let me get this Malenstein jersey.
I think there is an acknowledgement, even if not like explicit from you, that like you're never gonna enjoy it as much as like we are. Yes. I don't think that's your goal. You're just there's it's a team to root for today. You're gonna root for the, like, why not enjoy it? Like that's how I was in Florida. Like, I ultimately didn't really I don't really care. I'm a bigger Panthers defender than I think most people. That'll shock the chat based on my week, but like I was enjoying it. I was going crazy. I was cheering for the Panthers during that cup run when we were in Florida because gonna be there. Why not?
Chat is exclusively saying, Sean, say it back. Say it back.
I love you. I love you.
Sean, love you, brother. Love you, Pete. Say it back. Are you fucking kidding me? I say I love you to you, and you say it back to me probably more than we say it to our significant others.
Stay away from my Bruins.
Oh yeah.
Stay
well,
away.
can I say this, DJ? I know that we're talking about potentially, like, if someone's gifting us Sabres jerseys, they're going to have to be present ones. I, knowing you and your god-awful taste in jerseys, would like you to get your hands on a Buffa Slug. Or better yet, those god-awful piss jerseys.
Yes.
That's what you should get. Get your hand on a Sabres piss jersey. That's so up your alley.
Oh, I could do that.
A Brian Giunta captain's yellow piss jersey.
Steve Ott.
Yeah,
the
dude.
Steve Ott piss jersey.
Yes. Moaning's back on the table, baby, if we're talking bad Sabres jerseys.
Why can't I think of the Bruins killer for the Sabres, who was fucking awesome? He also played for the Wild.
Vanek?
Thomas Vanek.
Thomas Vanek. If I got like a Thomas Vanek Buffa Slug and we went to Buffalo for a Bruins Sabres first round,
they would ask you
throw me down the fucking toilet.
But Buffalo people would ask you, like, what suburb of Buffalo are you from? Because that's one thing I think you guys will see once you're in Buffalo. Buffalo has... I would say that Buffalo goes up against any market in the country, in the league, in terms of, like, the random fucking old jerseys you're going to see at Sabres games are awesome. Like, they're everybody. I mean, everything from, like, Lindy Ruff jerseys, Miroslav Shatan jerseys, and then you're getting, like, you'll see there's a segment of the fan base that fucking loves the shitty Sabres jerseys.
What if I'm gonna get a Rochester Americans Devin Levi jersey?
Do it.
Ooh.
Yes, absolutely.
If I got a jersey that just said Kevin Adams on the back, first and last name?
Yes, please. The only problem is that Kevin Adams did, as a hockey player, knock the Buffalo Sabres out of the playoffs, and then as a GM, prevented them from getting into the playoffs. So he's kind of a bad luck charm as far as the Sabres in the playoffs go.
I think I want to get you a Kevin Adams jersey.
I couldn't wear that until a season.
Kevin Weeks with a Y.
Or you could go a real like hockey lore type of thing. You can go a Taro Sugimoto jersey. What do you know about?
Oh,
Taro
that would be
Sugimoto?
the best. Yeah.
Do you know about Sugimoto?
Sugimoto
he's
is the fake Sabres draft pick.
Oh,
Back
yes.
To protest the draft being too long, the Sabres
Yes.
picked a fake player.
Yes.
That
Taro
is the
Sugimoto.
best.
From Japan.
Outstanding.
Yeah, we should do a hockey lore video on that.
Yes.
That is a classic little tidbit of it. But there's so many. I mean, someone in the chat said Jochen Hesch. He came up during the Parayko trade because somebody speculated that the Parayko trade was pending Jochen Hesch allowing him to wear the 55. I mentioned Paul Gostetter. There's so many names. Patrick Coletta went to St. Francis High, just like Lee Stempniak.
All right, now we're just naming
I was gonna
fucking
say.
Sabres.
Risto. You can get a Risto jersey.
Yeah, I could get that would be very cool. I might do that. My Sports Interaction, by the way, every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. Bet the action on every period, every shift, every shot with Canada's homegrown sportsbook. Sports Interaction, Ontario only, 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Thank you to the Philadelphia Flyers. They kind of took care of business. They beat the Ducks in overtime. Or was it overtime or a shootout? I fell asleep while I was watching it. Yeah, I was really mad when Carlson tied it.
Actually, was it a shootout? I forget. I
In overtime. Anyway, they've done
about?
my bidding for me. Thank you. But now you're entering Armenian Heritage Night against the Kings. Kings are rested. They're celebrating Armenians the right way. Everything made in the right places. So go Kings, go. Every game, and they're undefeated this week in theme nights.
True. Yes.
Theme nights.
Flyers won in overtime, not shootout. Noah Cates had the ugliest goal that I've seen.
Lovely. Well, it's the Kings' time. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. From puck drop to overtime, bet with live odds on every play with easy deposits and payouts. Go to sportsinteraction.com/whatchaos to open an account. Ontario only, 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Sean,
real quick.
Yep.
Friend of the show, Linus Olmark. Get a Linus Olmark Sabres jersey. He had only good times there. That it would only bring back good memories.
Now that's gonna be my afternoon today, buddy.
God, I want every
super
Sabres
chats.
jersey. Yes, we can. We got 6
We
of
can
them
do
right
that.
now.
Every Sabres jersey. Let's see. From Jose on the air. Take the ingredients and don't have the recipe is literally Kevin Adams drafting the current Sabres team, but Yarmo getting them on track again.
Banger.
Exactly. Stacy Faye says, Pete, please review the books on the newsletter as you read them. Ooh,
I
very
will
good.
do that.
That's cool.
Newsletter tomorrow, patreon.com/whatchaos. I will give my feelings on Project Hail Mary, which is very near and dear to my heart. But I'm also finishing today.
favorite book.
I should be finishing today Dead Man's Walk by Larry McMurtry, which is in the Lonesome Dove tetralogy. And I got to say, it's got to be my favorite book series of all time. Lonesome Dove is my favorite book of all time, and Dead Man's Walk has been an unbelievable time. It's the first in the series chronologically, and I cannot wait to just plow through all of the books in this tetralogy.
Speaking of books, Deirdre in the chat asked, is DJ reading You Are Not So Smart per her recommendation? I indeed am. Not only am I reading it, but I read part of it for the 24-hour trade deadline stream and threw out a hypothetical from the book that Pete got right because Pete is so smart. I love you, Pete.
And it had a premise that I rejected entirely.
Yeah, Sean said I'm too smart for this. Bart says Jay Hughes is the Ricochet of hockey. If you know, you know. Okay, Eric Ripperson says...
I believe that's a wrestling reference. I believe it's Ricochet the wrestler.
Eric Ripperson says, need a running list of things Sean has defended. I do not need that.
It looked very bad on paper.
Keep Sean as a producer, and I cannot afford the Tkachuks hiring him away. Bart says, I just realized Sean's last name is literally of peace, but all he does is ignite wars in the chat. Very, very good. Stephanie says, Armenian Heritage Night at LA Kings tonight. DJ shirt size. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I am covered thanks to the Kings. Love the Kings. Love all of you. Renee, speaking of the Kings, says, DJ knows puck. Go Kings go. That's a weird one from Renee.
I know. Well, we didn't talk a ton about the Kings today. We just talked about their promotional nights, which I think is right in Renee's wheelhouse.
Okay.
How much do you think that how much effort do you think the Kings put into making sure that their Armenian stuff was ethically sourced this year?
I think
positive.
All of the effort.
Yeah.
I think that they
as much
went
effort
to
as
whatever
possible.
country they were made in and picked them up themselves just to make sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you to Eric Tulsky, to Danny Elfman, to Gary Bettman, to Mason McTavish, to Pat Verbeek, to Brady Tkachuk, to Bill Zito, to
Beck Mallenstein.
Beck Mallenstein, of course, to
Jack
The
Hughes'
Panthers
future PR
unprotected.
team.
Jack Hughes' future PR team, to
of course, Phil Pritchard.
Oh, Phil Pritchard. Why can't I think of Evan Rodriguez? Thank you to
Off campus.
Thank you to Off Campus and to the author who I think some people like and some people do not like. Thank you, per Sean, to J.K. Rowling. Thank you.
Whoa.
No.
Can't-
Are you?
don't
Oh, right.
do that.
No.
No.
Oh, thank you to Mike Myers.
It's a very strong fuck J.K. Rowling.
Okay.
I still like those movies, though.
Thank you to Sharky and Armenia.
We did not
And
mention this
Barbies.
on the show, but thank you to Colin Dorgan and Blackstone Valley for that incredible story. You see that?
What?
Rhode Island
Blackstone
State
Valley.
Championship?
Oh, yes,
they won
yes.
they won the D2
Yes.
Rhode Island State Championship.
Amazing.
Colin Dorgan game tying goal in the final minute, I believe. So
And did he have the OT winner earlier in the playoffs? Did he
earlier in
not?
the playoffs
Earlier in
to
the tournament?
send them to this game. I think in the semifinals he scored the game winner in double overtime, and they won the state championship in quadruple overtime. So that team knows drama.
Thank you to Elizabeth Hurley, to Heather Graham, to Beyonce Knowles.
Yes. Thank you to Austin Powers, the Austin Powers of hockey.
Yes. That's going to be...
Whoever that may be.
Hey, well, there's a lot of options. Sean, you play your cards right. It could be you. Thanks, everyone, for checking out the show. We love you so much. We got a lot of stuff coming. Pete's going to write about books on the Patreon. It's going to be lovely.
We are also closing in on 40,000 YouTube subscribers, which is very exciting. So
yes.
if you are not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're listening on audio, continue to listen on audio if you want, but just throw us a little subscription on YouTube. And that subscription doesn't cost you anything. It's just a click of a button, What Chaos on YouTube. So please, let's get to 40,000 because I like round numbers, and that one's very exciting. Thank you very much. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything, daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.